Good morning, DJ Kane 1. I'm going to talk a little bit about the T.I. versus Alfamega conflict. Really not so much the conflict, but my involvement therein. First of all, I don't know either of them, haven't met either of them. As a radio DJ, I support their music. My station, WJQM, hosted an Alfamega event. He was on a tour where he was talking with youth. I don't weigh in on either side of the conflict at all. First I want to establish how I even became linked to the beef in the first place. I was checking out hiphopgame.com yesterday evening, and I was just listening to the various new songs that they had up, and one of them was Alfamega Round 1, and it was apparently a diss towards T.I. So I listened to it, and I'm listening, and I'm thinking, here's a little intro. The intro comes in. That sounds like a sample I used. That's interesting. They chopped the drums the same way I chopped the drums. And then the track came in. I'm thinking, oh, this is really familiar. And then I realized it was my beat. And I had no idea that Alfamega even had beats for me. And I didn't, my name wasn't on it. That's cool because I don't necessarily want to be associated with any other person's conflicts. But that's how I became linked. And I can, I don't think I need to prove it to you, but if you're curious, here is the Alfamega song.
Don't let up off of Alpha. 1, 2, hey.
Alfamega Southern rapper with a sick flow. Mr. Set it off anywhere, nigga get low. Get your money up, let it pile up. Just every other song, I'm swim style up.
Okay, so now I'm gonna open, and I had to dig around for this. I'm gonna open the session file of my beat. There's a session file, as you can see. If you really are curious here, I'm gonna just silence some of the tracks out. Here are the horns. Just the horns. Throw the drum break in. Throw the 808s in. Here's the full track. Okay. So we've established that it's my beat. And I will get back to that later because this video is really, it has a dual purpose. Firstly, to kind of give you the story of my involvement in the situation and my opinion in the situation. And then the second part of this video, I would like to address the producers, the aspiring producers who watch my videos, because I think that's the majority of my subscribers, and give them a little advice and insight. So what's happening now is, and I don't really know too much about the situation. Now I'm kind of having to know, since I realized that this supposed diss track was recorded over my beat. It's curious that this is even a diss track to begin with. If you've heard the song, Alfamega doesn't mention T.I.'s name at all. He doesn't address the nature of the conflict originally, the DA informant rumors, etc. He doesn't mention getting dropped from the label. That just kind of sounds like an aggressive verse. And he apparently went on MTV. I didn't get a chance to watch that, but he apparently went on MTV and claimed that this track was recorded at the time that he was still signed on to Grand Hustle Records, which means this was pre-conflict when he recorded the song called Round 1. Now I don't know if this is proof to back up Alfamega's claims that this is not a diss track and that it was in fact recorded back when he was signed on to Grand Hustle and when everything between him and T.I. was all good. based on the evidence that I have as the producer of the track, I don't think that this was actually a shot at T.I. at all. When I check out my session file, you can, look at when the file was created. It was created on Wednesday, July 30th of 2008, which means I sent this track to my manager, who in turn sent it to Alfamega probably around that time. Now, the conflict between T.I. and Alfamega reached its boiling point in May of 2009, almost a full year after I created and sent this beat out. In May of this year, 2009, Alfamega was dropped from Grand Hustle Records. Firstly, this beat was created last year. This was back when Alfamega was signed to Grand Hustle, and I highly doubt that he would wait a full year or a full 6 months after receiving this beat to just out of nowhere record a diss track against T.I. to it. It doesn't make sense. I don't want to see any conflicts transpire between hip-hop artists. My opinion is that it was not, in fact, a song directed towards T.I. Part 2 of the video. I'm obviously not happy about the situation. You're never happy when an artist uses one of your songs without telling you, and then leaks it without telling you, and then doesn't give you credit for it. And that that's a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, I don't want my name tied to the conflict, but here I am making this video, so whatever, it's all publicity. When you send beats out to major label artists or any artist, as a producer, you always run the risk of them two-tracking and recording and leaking your song. This whole process of sending the tracks out is based entirely on the honor system. As a producer, I send you, a major label artist, some of my beats, or my manager sends you the beats. Shout out to Brandon Lavish Life Producer Management. And you are supposed to honor the fact that this is my creation, and that if you choose to use it, you have to clear that with me. Now, as we know, that's not always the case. This has happened to a lot of producers. As of yesterday, I didn't think it had happened to me, but it did in fact happen to me. Basically, that beat is dead. I can't sell that track, I can't use it, whatever. So, producers, aspiring producers who want to send your music out to major label artists, you can tag your music. I didn't tag this song. Had I, then my name just would have been on this supposed diss track against T.I. Regardless of what you do, this is always a risk you run when sending your music out. Now, the advice that I was given from my man over at Asylum, Lee, because he works with a lot of producers and he's seen them experience similar situations. His advice to me was, you know what? You're a producer, you make beats, right? Every now and then an artist might stretch the boundaries of the honor system and two-track one of your beats. What are you going to do? You can't do anything. All you can do is make more beats. As frustrating as that may sound, that's really the unfortunate reality of the situation. In conclusion, producers, this is what you have to look forward to. It may happen to you, it may not, but either way, don't let it discourage you. Just keep making more beats, and I hope that this situation resolves itself between T.I. and Alfamega, because, or at least I hope that it just dies down, because I don't think that A, Alfamega is trying to perpetuate any conflicts, and B, as a hip-hop artist, I don't want conflicts in the hip-hop world anymore. We really don't need that. So thank you for watching. I'm DJ Pain 1, and that's my opinion.